Right now, eastern Canada is facing a dangerous and fast-evolving winter storm, and this is not just another typical cold day. It is a high-impact weather situation unfolding across Ontario, Quebec, and the wider Atlantic Canada region, where heavy snow, powerful winds, and extreme cold are combining to create near-blizzard conditions in some areas. This system is already producing intense snowfall rates, and when you add in strong gusty winds, that snow is being blown across roads and highways, reducing visibility to near zero at times. That is where the real danger comes in, because it is not just about how much snow falls, but how it moves. Drivers can go from clear visibility to complete whiteout conditions in seconds, making travel extremely risky and in some cases nearly impossible. As of today, temperatures across much of eastern Canada remain well below freezing, and when those strong winds are factored in, it feels even colder due to wind chill, creating harsh and potentially dangerous conditions for anyone outdoors. This storm system has developed from a powerful clash between cold Arctic air and a surge of moisture moving in from the south, and that combination is what is fueling both the heavy snowfall and the strong wind field. In parts of Ontario and Quebec, snowfall totals are building quickly, and in some regions, they are reaching levels that can significantly disrupt transportation and daily life. Major cities like Toronto and Montreal are dealing with accumulating snow, icy roads, and reduced visibility, while surrounding rural and highway areas are seeing even worse conditions due to open terrain where winds can freely blow snow across roadways. Snow is not just falling. It is drifting and piling up in uneven ways, which makes road clearing operations much more difficult and time-consuming. Even when plows pass through, strong winds can quickly cover roads again, creating an ongoing cycle that keeps conditions hazardous for extended periods. As the system pushes further east into Atlantic Canada, the situation becomes even more complex. Coastal regions are particularly exposed to stronger wind gusts, and when those winds interact with falling snow, they can create full blizzard-like conditions in localized areas. Visibility drops dramatically, and the combination of wind and snow can lead to rapid accumulation in some places while scouring snow away in others. This uneven distribution of snow adds another layer of danger, especially for travelers who may not expect sudden drifts or icy patches. In addition to that, the strength of the wind itself poses a risk, as gusts can be strong enough to cause minor structural damage, bring down tree branches, and potentially lead to power outages in vulnerable areas. When you combine that with freezing temperatures, any loss of power becomes more than just an inconvenience. It can quickly turn into a serious safety concern. One of the most critical aspects of this storm is the temperature. Across eastern Canada, temperatures are staying firmly below freezing, and in some areas they are dropping even further as colder air wraps into the system. Wind chill values are making it feel significantly colder than the actual air temperature, and this increases the risk of frostbite for anyone exposed to the elements for extended periods. It also ensures that any snow that falls will stick around, and any moisture on roads will freeze quickly, creating icy and slippery surfaces. This is especially dangerous during periods when snowfall intensity temporarily decreases, because it can give a false sense of improvement while roads remain extremely hazardous underneath. From an analysis perspective, this storm is a classic example of a late winter system in Canada, where the atmosphere still has enough energy to produce powerful winter weather despite the approaching spring season. The strong temperature contrast between lingering Arctic air and incoming milder air masses is a key driver, and as long as that contrast remains in place, the potential for similar storms continues. What also makes this situation significant is the duration of impacts. Even after the heaviest snow begins to taper off, blowing snow and strong winds can continue to create dangerous conditions, meaning the overall event lasts much longer than just the period of active snowfall. This extended impact window is something that often leads to prolonged travel disruptions and ongoing safety concerns. Another important factor is how this storm interacts with existing winter conditions. In many parts of Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada, there is already snow on the ground, and this new system is adding to that snowpack. That increases the risk of deeper drifts, heavier loads on infrastructure, and more difficult recovery efforts once the storm passes. Snow removal becomes more challenging, and the cumulative effect of repeated storms can strain resources and slow down the return to normal conditions. In urban areas, this means longer delays in clearing streets and sidewalks, while in rural regions, it can mean extended periods of isolation for some communities. As we move through today, the storm continues to track across eastern Canada, and while some areas may begin to see gradual improvement later on, the overall situation remains dangerous in the short term. Conditions can change very quickly, and what may seem manageable at one moment can become hazardous the next due to shifting winds or bursts of heavier snowfall. The key message here is that this is an active and ongoing weather event with real impacts on transportation, infrastructure, and daily life. The combination of heavy snow, strong winds, and extreme cold creates a scenario where caution is absolutely essential. Looking ahead, once this system begins to move out, colder air is expected to remain in place across much of the region, which means any snow and ice left behind will not be melting anytime soon. Roads will likely stay icy, and cleanup efforts will continue well after the storm itself has passed. This is not just a one-day event. It is something that will have lingering effects across eastern Canada for days to come. So whether you are in Ontario, Quebec, or Atlantic Canada, staying informed and prepared is critical as this storm continues to unfold.